Loot presents The Rum Review with your host, Dr. Hunter S. Snook. What's up, Hunter?
Up is a relative concept. It has no intrinsic value.
Thank you, but I wasn't asking you, Dr. Manhattan. What have you been up to, Dr. Snook?
I've been super busy, I tell you. First off, I had to reread the entirety of Crime and Punishment for this week's review.
Wait, you're reviewing a book?
Of course not. Why would I talk about a book? I bet not even half the people listening agreed.
That may very well be true, but I wouldn't word it in such a, condescending way.
I had to reread the book before I watched the movie version. It's funny, it only took me an hour and 20 minutes to watch a movie based on a book that took me 12 days to read.
Well, that's not that bad. That's 50 pages a day?
50 pages a day over the course of 18 hours.
18 hours a day? What did you read, one word per minute?
2.
No wonder you didn't answer my text. Are you, operating 10 bottles of methamphetamines right now?
No, you snarky narc. I'm operating on 20 pixie sticks. Oh, by the way, do you have trouble spelling Dostoevsky?
I used to, but not so much anymore.
Awesome. Well, for any of our listeners writing book reports on Crime and Punishment, here's a helpful way to remember how to spell Dostoevsky. First, you spell dosaki, like the Spanish alcoholic beverage. Then you erase a key, so you're left with dos. Next, you spell toe, like the biggest digit protruding from your foot. Now, pay extra attention here, because this is where it gets hard. After toe, spell King Kong versus Godzilla, but horizontally, so that toe precedes verses. Then erase King Kong, Godzilla, and the period from verses. And then all you have to do is slap a K and Y on the end. Simple as that.
Yes, simple as the stream of conscious babbling of a burnt-out junkie in denial. So tell us about the movie.
Well, the thing of it is, if you go in expecting a film adaptation as thought-provoking and brilliant as the book, you're going to be more disappointed than Ringo realizing the other Beatles only let a man into the band because he was butt ugly. It'll make them look good by comparison.
Yes, at over 500 pages, densely packed pages at that, it was inevitable that any adaptation of the story would lose a considerable amount of power.
Indeed. Now, this is true even today, but consider that this particular adaptation was made back in 1935. Times and people were simpler back then, so they had to trim a lot of stuff, like the subplot about Raskolnikov's sister, Dunya, marrying the lawyer and butthole supreme, Luzine.
I don't even think you could call that a subplot. That was more like a second plot in the novel. But then in the film, it looked like they might actually explore it until Raskolnikov literally pushed Luzhin out the door.
Speaking of Raskolnikov, if there's only one reason to watch this movie, it's for Raskolnikov, who's played by the inimitable, with apologies to comedians and voice actors everywhere, Peter Lorre.
Yes, he did a great job, especially considering that when I first pictured Raskolnikov, I would have thought to cast Peter Lorre as him. I was thinking someone younger and thinner.
What? Do you have something against fat people?
No, and as a matter of fact...
More like as a matter of fact.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, Lorre was younger and thinner in the role than the roles I usually see him, but he wasn't just, the first thing that came to mind when I thought of the book's notorious and nihilistic college student.
Well, he made him better Raskolnikov than you. He was intense and condescending and suspicious.
Who does that sound like? Condescending? You mean like the guy who scornfully for your remarks that my listeners probably don't read?
Well, I'm glad that the movie did the bare minimum and focused on the crime spoken of in the title, Raskolnikov's murder of the landing.
I guess, but doing that, adhering to the basic outline of the plot is so basic, so obvious, that doesn't deserve praise. And even then, the events following the crime, such as Raskolnikov's developing paranoia and his conversations with the police chief Porfiry, are heavily truncated, and thus less profound than Dostoevsky's book.
Geez, you just can't please some people.
Oh, come on now. Not even the director, Josef von Sternberg, was happy with how the film turned out.
Oh, what did that uptight Australian know about film?
A lot, apparently. I'm pretty sure he also knew the difference between Australians and Austrians.
Talk about a non sequitur.
Half of the things that come out of your mouth are non sequiturs.
And half of the stuff that comes out of your mouth is...
Okay, let's just finish up this darn review already. Were you at all confused by the apparent decision to set the film in, not Russia, for lack of a better term?
Was I? I was baffled as myself when I told him that I shot Jack Kennedy. By the way, in case you were wondering, it was the comedian Arthur Miller. I mean, the film seems to take place in a modern Western country, but some of the names were westernized. But like how Donya's name became Tonya, but then they talked about sending Raskolnikov to Siberia. So yeah, I was a little bamboozled.
Yeah, setting ambiguity can be really effective in some cases, but it just wasn't here. Well, that's all the time we have for today, Hunter.
Indeed. I'm Dr. Hunter Snook, and this has been The Rum Review.